You guys know what I think of of Red Days? You know what I think of Red Days? This is what I think of Red Days. we freaking go to Kraken Kingdom on rips and on dips, baby. I'll tell you that right now. Freaking bottoms up, man.
At this point, it should be obvious that if you try to short AMC, you're going to end up just like the guys who shorted it in January. You're an idiot.
No, we don't have that. We don't have that tool.
Short seller, you probably love it at 30, you love it at 50, you love it at 70 because you're seeing downside down. I think a lot of shorts did get squeezed out, but over time period, but they were replaced by new shorts that were looking for new trades when the stock was trending upwards.
There are a lot of short sellers out there that have been buying stock they didn't have. In other words, yes, I think there are dynamics where retail investors can get caught. But I think there are dynamics where retail investors can get caught. I think this is going to be a
Well, you know what the funny thing is? Now the banks, I just heard Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, just to name a few, they don't want to lend any more money to the hedge funds for shorting it. You know why? Because the banks know we're gonna move.
Well, Charles, first off, I'd like to extend a thank you for giving the opportunity for millions of apes to be able to speak out about the culture and story, being written by AMC stock right now. I think they're getting the wrong picture with this this whole segment. We understand perfectly clear that this is not about fundamental value in this moment in time. They're doing this as black and white, when that's not the case. This is a message. This is a legacy that the apes are trying to write right now to send a message to the short sellers, hedge funds, and institutions who have been blatantly betting against and frankly, taking advantage of the institution, the retail investor, over these past 6 months, year, 5 years, 10 years, and show them that we are stronger than they think we are. We're smarter than we think they are. And, we're better. That's as simple
as it gets. You will see this have the stupidest, filthiest, most disgusting, gnarly, freaking stupid move that it has ever had. And that's as simple as it gets. I don't think this was it. What I mean by that is the naked short slip up. That is huge. That's a huge, 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 unquantifiable piece that literally slipped out of national news. Millions of people saw that, guys. Millions of people who have never even looked at AMC stock before are going to be talking about that. It's crazy. And I've had this question asked. How come Matt and how come Trey, when they go on national news, don't talk about naked shorts? That is a lawsuit waiting to happen unless I can personally show you picture perfect who's doing that, right? I have to cover my butt, same as Matt Kohrs does, right? We skip and dance around the fact, right? The failure to delivers. We've talked about the unusual call options and put options that are getting put into this. The fact that 11% of the total calls and puts in the entire market were put into AMC stock, right? We talk about the freaking malpractice. We talk about the FINRA reports. We talk about all that stuff. Dancing around exactly what was just said. So now that the freaking cat's out of the bag, the liability's off the table, I'm telling you guys, the hype, the momentum for AMC stock is stupid. This has some real lights out, sort of freaking never before seen, probably never seen again opportunity. If you're a bag holder out there on AMC stock, you bought it somewhere above $47 in the $50, $55, $60, $65, $70 range. Maybe there's somebody out there who bought it at $72. If you are, let us know in the chat bar down below, the comment section. We'll lift your spirits, right? We're coming back for you. I'll tell you that right now. I don't think this is the end of the storybook. I think there's more on the table, and I'll tell you this right now. I'd rather die on my feet fighting for something I believe in than down on my knees.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me on this show. My interest, I've been trading now for about the better part of a decade, and I've just never seen this much of a community behind such like it's just resonating with a lot. So it feels like it's just something a little bit more special than just something playing out in the stock market. I just love the community that has really come from this movement.
With that, I promised to personally put $52,195 into AMC. We're going to change that to $75,000 worth of shares Monday, 6:30 a.m.
It's this GameStop thing happened, which don't forget, that company's in Grapevine, Texas, about 5 miles from where I grew up. So anyway, the point is, absolutely, this is critical. This group of apes, as they call themselves, need to be proud of what they're doing. They need to grow and grow and grow, and it needs to grow internationally also, because this is not just a U.S. problem. This is a worldwide problem. As I said last time, from trusted resources I know, this is a $250 trillion approximately problem and growing worldwide. What is it in the United States? I hear all kinds of numbers, but at least 100 trillion. Now that counts stocks, bonds, credit default swaps, derivatives, T-bills, for God's sake, that are being counterfeited. This all stems from electronically selling something you don't deliver. So what can you do? You can continue to grow. You can continue to speak out. you can continue to try to co-invest with each other in some legal way where you can become a bigger bully than they are, for God's sake. Pick out the companies that you think are meritorious and go stand up for them, okay? That's number one. So nobody has ever thought about doing that like you've done. So hoo-ah, as they say, to you men and women who are doing that. Number two, write your congressmen, write your senators, send letters to the SEC, get on the internet, educate people, demand transparency, demand change. It is in its very base level, financial reform. It talks about me being, a legal advocate for financial reform. That's a nice way to say I'm sick of this crap and I'm going to stop it. Okay. So the bottom line is that you can be a big part of this. Frankly, what you're doing is mission critical to the cause. Keep it up. Do everything you can, every form of communication, every form of demand, every form that you can legally do it. Challenge the companies that aren't doing something to protect your interest. They owe you duties. They need to be doing something. So at the end of the day, you got to work against the companies that aren't doing anything. You got to work against the regulators who aren't doing anything and demand change. And until that gets to the point to where the people have rebelled long and hard enough, it's not going to change. Frankly, what we're doing is good. It exposes it. And what we're fixing to do, which is build it up and do a lot with a bigger group of cases, that's coming, ladies and gentlemen, it's still not going to be big enough. It takes an enormous movement. Why? Because these people, are involved in the Fed, they're involved in the World Bank, they're involved in all of this. So this is what my friends refer to amorphously as the cabal, okay? We're taking on the cabal. Who is that? Well, you'd have to kill me and shoot me because I really don't know. I know that there are I know who some of them are, I think, but I couldn't prove that in a court of law. I know it exists. It is a group of super elites and super wealthy people that control a lot of the world's economy. I don't know how big they are, who they are necessarily, but I know that they're involved in this and we need to stop it. We need to demand fairness, honesty, integrity, and justice. This is the land of the free, the home of the brave, justice for all. Never forget that, okay? And I can assure you, this Texas gentleman will not ever forget it.
The meme stock.
Other meme stocks.
Meme stocks.
Meme stocks. Another meme stock. Back in March, our next guest came on this very show after slapping a penny price target on AMC shares.
Is no value to equity holders. People can buy it because they're excited about going back to theaters, but there is no value to this company. And ultimately, that's what's going to matter is they can't pay off their debt ever. All that really matters here long term, this company is never going to make cash again. Like they will never generate cash with their current capital structure.
There are a lot of short sellers out there that have been borrowing stock they didn't have. In other words, yes, I think there are dynamics where retail investors can get caught, but it's really...
Traders betting against AMC, GameStop, and Virgin Galactic have lost this week. The total, it's now $2.8 billion in just the 4 days.
There it is! There it is! There it is! There it is! Look at that freaking boom boom candle, baby! Let's go!
$3.50! Let's go! AMC at $50!
This is your fight. You want to end poverty? You want to stop misery? You want to end not having enough money to take care of your family when they're in the hospital? This type of stuff, this is it.
I've worked my fucking ass off. I've done everything I'm supposed to do. I've been beat down. I've been put down by other people, by bosses.
Oh man, I'm gonna remember the short sellers and the institutions and the hedge funds and the media that were betting against the apes and have for freaking decades and decades. And I'm gonna prove every single one of those motherfuckers wrong.
No, this is not the end. It's not even the beginning of the end. But it is perhaps the end of the beginning.